The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where Wally teaches and where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. This podcast is also brought to you by United Faith Mortgage. Let their direct lender advantage save you time and money.
Uplifting Way FM.
If you're not careful, you might just learn something today.
Hi there. Is there a project you're working on?
I know more than you.
All right.
It's The Wally Show.
What you got, Gavin?
I think we have all had or maybe have a friend or have interacted with somebody who you'd say, this person obviously isn't from America. And whether that's an accent or a language or like habits that you just wouldn't normally see here in America.
Yeah, culturally we have very different things that almost identify you sometimes as being from a different place.
Exactly. And I've never personally thought too hard about what are like the dead giveaways for what makes an American other than being, saying y'all and going crazy like that, or, Lee
overeating.
Right here.
That's one that other countries are like, you are Americans, you eat a lot.
Yeah, we are the only ones who have our Route 44 cups from Sonic. And so I found this list today of some of the quote-unquote dead giveaways for Americans, and some of them are very interesting to me. So the first one was backwards baseball caps.
No, they don't do that in other countries. Wow, that's a bro cap, man.
I know, exactly.
Nicely done.
The second one was jaywalking. I don't know if I believe that one.
That's interesting. Like, we don't follow the rules, and other countries follow the rules. Like Asian countries, definitely, man. If you jaywalk, you could be killed. Yeah. Because the traffic is just so crazy. You have to.
And then the next one was tipping.
Oh, yeah, that's a big difference.
Because you've been out of the country. I've never been out of the country before.
Yeah, and it's weird when you go out of the country and you go to a restaurant, they want you, in a lot of countries, it's like you tip for exceptional service.
Sure.
And then it's not even like we do now, 10, 20, well, 20% really. But it's like you, if you tip for something that wasn't exceptional, there's like a question like, wait, what? Why would you be doing that?
And that's opposed to here where I think even kids or people who are in the service industry who don't even serve incredibly well are like, where's my 15% tip?
Or when you've gone and done all the work at this restaurant and like you're picking something up and they're like, hey, would you like to leave a tip? No! You're killing me with that.
I'm going to Europe.
Yeah.
This last one that I think is actually really interesting is deliberating going to the hospital after a serious injury. It is a very American thing to do.
Well, yeah, because we're trying to figure out how much it's going to cost us. We don't have all that great socialized medicine, so we're like, well, I don't know. I think my leg will grow back. It's fine. I don't need to spend the copay on this.
Well, we're kind of crazy in that sense that we're like, well, maybe it's just not that bad.
Yeah. The one thing I wish we were known for is like the thing I can always tell about people from Africa. Joy. It is unbelievable, unmistakable. I can talk to somebody for 10 seconds and I beyond the accent or whatever, I'm like, hey, what part of Africa are you from? What country are you from? And they'll usually tell me like, how did you know? Just the joy. You have this glow about you. And that's what I wish we were known for personally, because it's amazing. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. It's time for #YourWeekend. This is where you give us a creative hashtag, and we'll try to guess what happened on your weekend. It's kind of a fun way to tell us what went on, and we get to guess. So I will start us off here. Hashtag, this is my hashtag. Hashtag, carry on my wayward son. Hashtag. Gavin's thinking.
Yeah, because you don't have a son, so I can't go literal on that route.
Yeah.
I think that you are singing that to yourself.
Okay, that's a song by Kansas.
Yes, I think that was a phrase you were telling yourself as your wife dragged you through. Because you do like your version of shopping. You like shopping,
yes.
But I think that you guys went shopping in her realm, and it was boring.
Yeah, that usually is.
And so you had to carry on your way. Where that was you trying to carry yourself through that journey.
Yes. No. You were typing in on son, which is good there. But also carry on my wayward son. So my mom took my mom to church with us, and we happened to go to church where Carrie Underwood goes to church.
Oh, yes.
And so we met at the sidewalk at the same time.
Oh,
her
Carrie
and her
Underwood.
husband and her family and everything. And so Mike Fisher used to play for the Preds. He's captain of the Preds, hockey player, big guy. And so I was like, oh, after you guys. And so I let them go because I knew we were going to walk a little slower with my mom. And then something happens as we get into the atrium there that I'm not aware of, and I just hear this little commotion, and apparently my mom tried to run over Carrie's wayward son. He started walking to the right or something, and then my mom steps on him, and then it's this whole cacophony of things going on behind me. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm so sorry. And so they're getting their kids back together, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I got to fight Mike Fisher now. Because
Mike Fisher.
Yeah, because my mom is hurt his kid, and so. But it was funny too because later on, my mom gets mortified by things really easily, and so she was super embarrassed. But then it got worse when my wife, we sat down at church, and she's like, "Do you know whose kid you stepped on?" She's like, "No, who?" She's like, "That was Carrie Underwood."
Oh, your mom didn't
even know.
It could have just been some random kid.
She already felt bad about that, and then she felt worse for some reason. Yeah, it was just funny. So, all right, there you go. That's my hashtag. What is yours? Hashtag your weekend. Give us that creative hashtag. We'll try to guess what happened. 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. It's a great way to start the week here. 855-33-WAY-FM. What do you got?
Hashtag I'm with the band.
Hashtag I'm with the band. Okay, I'm going to say that you went to a concert and you were not with the band, but you were trying to get backstage to meet the band, and you brought a clipboard with you because that's the best way to get backstage is always have a clipboard and look like you're busy. And as the guard tried to stop you, you were like, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm with the band. Have you not seen my clipboard? So am I right?
No.
No, dadgummit. Well, there's a tip for you if you're ever trying to get backstage. So hashtag I'm with the band. What happened?
My son had band competition. I got stuck being pit crew.
I hate to say a way less cool band experience, but what does your son play?
He's front ensemble, so he's part of the percussion, and they took first place in their division for percussion and overall band.
Now, Tanya, are you musical? Did he get that from you?
He got it from me. It runs strong in my family.
Really? Now, you were in band too as a kid?
I was. I play saxophone.
I was a saxophone player as well. I had to quit playing saxophone. Do you know why?
You kept breaking the reeds?
It has to do with the reed, actually, funny enough. I have this weird thing where if my teeth hit the reed, it sent weird shivers through my body for some reason. I don't know why, just that reaction. And so I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. I'm not doing this anymore. So it feels odd to me. I don't know, and I don't know why.
So you quit because of sensitive teeth?
Yeah, I did, actually, yeah.
Did you go to a trumpet or something?
I did, actually. I went to trumpet, and then I quit that because my band instructor said, you're not good at this. And so I went on and did other things. Well, Tanya, thanks for being on Hashtag Your Weekend with us today.
Thank you.
What do you got?
Hashtag bittersweet find.
Bittersweet find. Okay, this is a good one. This could be anything. I'm going to say that you were garage sailing, and you found this amazing piece of pottery that you were so excited to get. You got it for a good price. You displayed it on the mantle in your home, only to have someone come over and go, that was a toilet from the 1600s, right?
No.
No, okay, because that would be bittersweet. Gavin?
That would.
I was thinking in the shopping realm as well, and I think that you were at a TJ Maxx and saw the most perfect purse in the world, and then you looked at it, saw the otherworldly price, but decided, I'm still going to get this. So the bittersweet part of it being that, you did buy it, you're glad you bought it, but you did spend a ton of money on it.
No, not that either.
TJ Maxx has forgotten themselves.
I know.
They used to be a great deal at TJ Maxx.
It used to be a great deal. You're exactly right.
And now all of a sudden you go to TJ Maxx. I saw a $500 jacket at TJ Maxx. I'm like, seriously? What is Maxxinista about that? Nothing.
Exactly, nothing.
All right, Lisa, what does the hashtag bittersweet find mean?
I was cleaning out my husband's pockets in his suit. He died 2 months ago.
Oh, no.
And there's a bittersweet in here. And as I was cleaning them out, I came across the box. And in it was a pendant and a pair of earrings with a message, happy birthday, happy anniversary, and Merry Christmas. And apparently he bought it about 3 weeks before he died. And he didn't know he was dying, so he had just set it aside to give to me.
Oh.
So I was very, very grateful to have it.
It's one of those things in the midst of that loss and that pain, just having something from him is nice. But then the fact that he was thinking about you and thinking ahead, I think has to make you feel amazing.
It does. It really does. So it's a little sad, but it's very, very happy too. I know we're supposed to be up and positive all these, but this one was really important.
No, it's absolutely beautiful. You kidding me? This is the life stuff. This is the real stuff. This is what we want to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for all you do, okay?
And now for some good news.
Uplifting Way FM. This here's the Wally Show. The regular news can be a bit of a bummer. That's why we do good news. Giddy up. A couple of rapid fire good news stories designed to make you feel better. Gavin, we're going to start with you. Good news. Giddy up. Go.
A blind skateboarder from Michigan named Daniel recently broke a world record for the longest 50-50 grind. Can you, Wally, as a former skateboarder, what is that?
A grind is where you're jumping up on something with your skateboard, usually kind of sideways, going down, stair rails or a coping, things like that, and you just kind of slide with it and grind it. Yeah.
Okay, so he broke the record for that, and he did it for 20 feet and 5 inches. And for a guy who probably was told a million times, hey, you're blind, you're not going to be able to skateboard, you're not going to make this happen, for him to break that world record and do
amazing.
It like that, just no limits there.
Yeah, I couldn't do that anymore. I used to skateboard. I couldn't do that anymore. But he did inspire me. When I read this story at first, I went to TikTok and watched skateboard fails.
So good.
I have been laughing for the last 5 minutes. This was kind of a really cool thing. We always have these challenges online that want to raise money for things. And remember the ice bucket challenge?
Oh, yeah, from way back in the day.
Yeah, where you had to put ice on your head and you challenge other people to do it. And it was crazy. It was raising money. You might not even remember this, for the ALS, for Lou Gehrig's disease. And so that was how it started and what it was all about. Well, a new ALS drug was partially funded by the ice bucket challenge in 2014 is when this was. Wow, I can't believe it's that long ago. It just now got approved by the FDA.
Oh, really? So that's a long process, but a lot of payoff for what we saw as just a fun trend back in the day.
Right, and it's one of those things that now, this is moving forward to helping people, because it's a really bad disease, and it's helping people, battle this thing, which is really cool. Crazy. 2014 just showed up. We had a COVID shot in 9 months.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, what a difference.
Coffee shops, poolside, back porch, picnic table at the park, at your kid's soccer practice. Just about anywhere can be your classroom when you decide to go back to school online at Colorado Christian University.
I know I got my degree online, and I actually did a homework at a campsite. I was sitting around a campfire writing a paper. That is where I did some of my work that weekend. So life doesn't have to stop just because you go back to school to better yourself. You can work towards this future and this goal that you want to accomplish, and it doesn't have to totally consume you or derail your normal life with friends, your family, or what have you.
And you can earn accredited degrees from Colorado Christian without ever setting foot on campus.
So there really shouldn't be an excuse to not going back to school. If it's something you really want to do, you can do it. And all you have to do is go to ccu.edu/Wally to learn more. And the other really important thing is that Colorado Christian is committed to cultivating the mind without compromising the heart. So check it out, ccu.edu/Wally.
Uplifting Way FM.
Stories for your head and your heart.
You know what the happiest animal on earth is? It's a goldfish. You know why? No. It's got a 10-second memory. Be a goldfish.
It's the Wally Show.
After Hurricane Ian roared into Florida, people are starting the process of cleaning up and rebuilding, and it's going to take a while. But now the stories of what people went through and some of the heroes are starting to come out. There's a lady who lost contact with her 78-year-old mother.
Oh, no.
And so she took to social media to find her. What happened was she posted on Twitter last week after seeing pictures of her mom's home in Fort Myers being submerged in water. She said, "I never felt so helpless in my life. I called my mom. It went straight to voicemail. I'm praying that she put her phone on airplane mode to save battery. I'm so scared. Can't stop shaking. Please, angels, get her through this." So her mom thought the hurricane was going to go north of her, and she'd been in this house for 20 years. Had been through multiple hurricanes. She decided to ride it out. And I know older people, man, they fear the unknown, and their home is like their place. And so I get that she didn't want to leave, and she decided to tough it out. But earlier, the lady and her mom were in contact, and her mom was sending her photos of the house flooding, but then silence. And like her last phone call with her mom, the mom told her that the house was flooding, and she told her mom, get up on the roof as a last resort, if the floodwaters continue to climb. And then they lost contact.
Well, and I mean, even last week we had people that we were even trying to text and communicate with, and I think signal was just so horrible down there, and it was frightening to not be able to know what's going on with them.
Absolutely. And so they were unable to communicate, so she went to Twitter, started the hashtag #GetCarolHome, and asked followers to help search for her. And what's crazy is it worked out. She said, you see this kind of stuff happen on the news and you see it in social media, but when it happens in your city, you can't believe it's going on. And so some people that followed her went out and looked for her mom, and these Twitter people actually found her mom, and she's fine.
That's awesome. When there's so much like negative stuff that can be on social media, to see it twisted and used for like absolute good and positivity like that is awesome.
And what's crazy is her mom had been like on her roof trying to flag down airplanes and helicopters, and that didn't work, but Twitter saved the day.
Go Twitter.
Go figure. Twitter, you got it right this time. Nicely done. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show, and Gavin's in that stage of life because he's younger than me by a couple years. 26 now, right, Gavin?
Oh yeah, so more than a couple years younger.
Yeah, this is where you're in the worst stage of life right now. I hate to break it to you. It's like your friends are all like getting married and stuff now, and you got to go to 100 weddings and then buy gifts and all.
And I invited like so many, good friends to my wedding, and so obviously when I get the invitation to their wedding, like
you gotta go.
You gotta respond to the favor. But I've got 3+ weddings that I'm going to in the next year, and gifts that I'm going to get, travel plans I've got to make. It's so much.
I know, it was a lot. I remember that season. I'm really glad that season is over.
I need them to all get married.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it was actually interesting, when I learned about a wedding that my friends went to, one that I didn't get invited to.
Nice.
Which either hurts my feelings or maybe I'm actually glad about that. But I heard about a very interesting DIY thing that they had another set of our friends do for them. They had them make what is called boba or bubble tea for them. And it's this weird,
That's hipster.
Normal black tea with milk in it, and then they put these tapioca balls and it's very hipster, kind of nasty if I'm being honest, but our friends had never made that before, and so when they asked them to make it, they were like, okay, we'll do this for a 200 person wedding.
Oh wow.
And so my friends woke up at 2 a.m. and spent a good 10 hours DIYing boba for our friend's wedding.
And like if they had been tea makers, I could understand that. This is what you do. Hey, would you do us a favor and use your company and do it? But like, hey, I know you've never made this before, but I don't know, would you?
Yeah, they're engineers, so they're smart people. Yeah. And if you're going to take, smart people and do something like that, I can get that they could accomplish that. But for the first time on that grand of a scale,
it does bring up the idea of like DIYing stuff, because they could have ordered it, but everything in a wedding is expensive.
Exactly.
Everything. Like we, at my reception, we had it at the church hall next to the sanctuary, and like my mom and a bunch of the ladies at the church and my wife's mom all made like sandwiches.
That's awesome.
It was so DIY, but it was great. Like we had a great wedding, and we didn't need to serve the salmon. It was fine,
Yeah, at the end of the day, like if you got married and you look back and you're like, that was a good day, you're not thinking about all the fine little details that you might have spent way too much money on.
All right, so what was the best DIY part of your wedding? I think a lot of brides, they're the ones on TV that are like, I got the geese and the doves, and and they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on their wedding. But then there are I think there's more women that are like, you're not going to believe this, I made my centerpieces out of a twig, and and like I saved $8, so I am curious, like, what is the most DIY thing that you did at your wedding that like landed and was really cool? 855-33-WAY-FM. You might be helping out another bride too that's getting married and is like, I just don't know what I'm going to do with my flowers, and who knows, maybe you'll help them out. 855-33-WAY-FM is how you can be part of the show now. I'm curious, Lauren, for you, what was the best DIY thing you did at your wedding?
So we had a really pretty wedding, and it ended up being a whole destination after that. But we did the whole wedding in under $800.
What?
So, yes. So me and my whole bridesmaids party, we made the decorations. We went to Hobby Lobby, got the fake wood, painted it, made all the decorations, and then we got mason jars from a thrift store, painted those, put ribbon around them, hot glued, like burlap and whatever. Instead of having people bring gifts, whenever we sent out the invitations, we said, would you mind bringing this much potato salad for this many people, or, mac and cheese?
Oh, that's kind of funny.
It was hilarious, and it all tasted really good because, Southern cooking.
Well, there you go. And for under $800, that is the best. I really, really, really hope my daughter is listening, because that would be fantastic. All right, Heather, you're up. What was your best DIY moment of your wedding?
My mother-in-law did everything, and she made my bouquet with fake flowers and some seashells in it because it was beach themed. So.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the bouquet and the flowers is so expensive, and then it dies. And so I think making one out of fake flowers is great because you could have it as long as you want to. You could put it, in your house under glass with a light on it, like a shrine, to remember the day.
My kids got a hold of it.
Oh, okay, so it's dead. Yeah, kids can kill even plastic flowers.
Oh, yes.
So what is that DIY part of your wedding like you're super proud of?
The thing I'm the most proud of is our centerpieces for our reception. We didn't want to pay the cost of these little wooden slices that people are putting on their tables. And I am a super thrifty person, so I even scoured Craigslist to see if people were giving away things. We happened to see a neighbor cutting down a tree from their front yard, and we went and asked, could we have some of the stumps? And my father-in-law-to-be cut them for us. So that, and then we got our mason jars that we used for free from somebody who was trying to sell them on Craigslist.
From someone who was running moonshine, and so we were helping get rid of some evidence.
Your story sounds a little more fun, but she was selling them originally for $2 a piece. And I said, would you take $1? She said, if you come get them right now, they're free. I was be there in 20.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. You saved some money.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been married?
Today is actually our 7th wedding anniversary.
Oh, well, hey, congratulations. That's great, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of work, for sure.
What, the wedding or the marriage?
This is Monday School. It's Wally's take on what he learned at church. Or at least the parts he understood.
So we are still going through the fruit of the Spirit. Pastor Chad from the Prayer Wall is here today. Hey, did you ever realize the distinction between the fruit of the Spirit and the fruits of the Spirit? We always say the fruits, but it's not the fruit, it's singular. Did they ever discuss that with you in Bible school?
No.
Really? Our pastor made a good point. He's we talk about that multiple things, it would be plural, but the Bible just says the fruit of the Spirit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
he's that I know.
All of them being the outpouring of the Spirit and not just trying to focus on one.
Exactly. Okay, now it's kicking in. Now that Bible training's kicking in for him. I'd never heard that because I didn't go to Bible school. And I'm oh, that makes sense. We're supposed to do them all.
Yeah.
So we're looking at them individually, and we were up to gentleness, which sounds like it might be easy, but it actually I think might be one of the most difficult ones to live out, because when someone hurts us or wrongs us, we want to respond in kind instead of gently responding with kindness. And so we're going to have conflict with people. It's inevitable. Sometimes it's people that we know. Sometimes it's complete strangers who rub us the wrong way trying to merge on a freeway. I mean, you will lose your faith sometimes, But we don't always have a choice in the situation, but we always have a choice in how we react. And if you're anything like me, you've been in an argument and later thought, oh man, I wish I hadn't have said that, And that happens to us Enneagram 8s. Pastor Chad's an Enneagram 8, but he's healthy, so he has less of these moments than me. But it happens with our coworkers, our spouses, our friends, even our kids. And this is the verse I love. The Bible says, a gentle answer turns away wrath. God calls us to gentleness, and as bad as it might feel at times, it usually has a much better outcome, because God's given you the outcome. Yeah. Usually it's going to work out a lot better, And so I've always struggled with the idea, and I'm curious, you as a fellow 8 on the Enneagram chat, the idea of someone taking advantage of me or getting one over on me, it drives so many of my bad decisions.
Yeah.
Are you like that? Are you wired that way?
Yeah, the second you started talking about gentleness, I thought, Enneagram 8, this is where I live all the time. Not only because sometimes I'm not meaning to not be gentle, it's just my tone sometimes comes across.
Yes, I have a really bad tone.
Yeah.
I've been told, Betty tells me that all the time, in meetings.
But, I mean, it's Monday school, and what I learned even this Sunday from my church was even the fact that in Philippians 2, it talks about Jesus going low instead of and being the servant to other people. And so that's where I have to remind myself that maybe that's part of I need to ignore being taken advantage of, and part of it's just pushing that aside and not reacting to it as well.
Absolutely. Like I always saw gentleness as weakness, but gentleness is strength under control, and having that ability to, fight, but choosing not to is strength. Or having the ability to take someone apart at work that wronged you, but choosing not to is strength. And so you might be dead right in your approach, but your approach matters. This is the thing I think we get wrong all the time. We might have the Bible on our side. We might be really right about an argument about somebody else's life choices and things like that. But how we approach it is the problem. And I love, like our pastor gave us this little formula, to kind of gauge our gentleness and our reactions. He said, right plus rude equals wrong. Because you can be dead right and you can have the Bible behind you, but if you treat somebody badly in the middle of it, if you're rude in the middle of it, then you're in the wrong.
I would say the difference is always intention versus perception. So my intent may be really good, but if people perceive me in a bad way, I've lost it.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. So let's be gentle out there, okay?
Amen.
Good luck to you today.
Uplifting Way FM.
He's wise beyond his years.
I can't really tell, but it seems like he's very good.
Here's Gavin.
I think we've all been in that place where you go to open the fridge to clean it out because it's gotten a little full. You want to make room for the new stuff that you're getting this weekend, and you just see all of the expiration dates that are way past due in that fridge, and maybe there's one or two smells that you're
like, oh,
questioning.
I don't remember that, and you got to get it taken care of. I'm bad about leaving stuff in the fridge that I don't want anymore, and then I'll throw it away on trash night because I don't want it to smell the trash, and then I forget, and then I got to wait for another week.
And it's just a cycle that keeps on going, and I've never thought too hard about sort of my refrigerator etiquette and how I can best maximize the usefulness of my fridge, but I found this list this morning about the refrigerator do's and don'ts that you should keep in mind as you want to have the healthiest fridge possible for your home. And the first do is dedicate a space for each item in your fridge.
Tell your wife that, and make sure she adheres to that, and tell her please not to move things again. Sorry, that's personal. You
doing okay?
Yeah. It's the craziest thing. She's like, you just don't look. You open the fridge and you ask me where this is and you don't look. I'm like, you keep moving things. It's no wonder I can't find
Create a roadmap for this fridge.
I'm a creature of habit. If the ketchup was here on the right-hand side, it should always be on the right-hand side.
So do this to keep your husband happy?
Yes, absolutely. That's a good idea. So I guess that way, if you have it in there, you'll know when you're running low.
Yes, and so you also don't double buy items, because I do that all the time where you're like, oh, I don't think we have this. Oh, no, we did. So if you just pay attention.
I have an idea, too, like when you go shopping, take a picture of like your fridge that, because you always forget what you have, and then take a picture of like, oh, we got mayonnaise, we're good.
Yeah, so you don't have a bunch of that, and then it goes, it's expired. The next do throw away your leftovers after 4 days. I've never thought too hard about like what the exact date on my leftover should be. They say 4 days because in essence, you don't know what's growing after 4 days.
And you're not going to eat it after then.
No.
I'm good for about 2 days on leftovers. If it goes more than 2 days for me, it's gone.
A buddy of mine will go a week, he says, and I don't like that.
It's crazy.
idea.
My mom is staying with us. I can feed my mom for almost a week on one burrito. Like, she eats so little, and she saves everything. Like, so she'll have a third of a burrito, and then the next day she'll have a little bit more and a little bit more.
That's awesome.
Like, oh my goodness, she would be, if she lived with us, it would be so inexpensive to feed her.
That's like one meal for me.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the don'ts was don't store highly perishable foods in the door shelf. So don't take the milk, which has like a quick expiration date. If you're not careful, don't put that in the door. Store it in the back of the fridge. They say because that is the coldest part of the fridge, whereas the door is the warmest part of the fridge.
My fridge freezes everything in the back. Like if I put anything too far back, it freezes it. It's like there's like a thermocline in there, and if I put something halfway in, it'll get like if I want like a slushy, I'll put my waters halfway there, and they get slushy.
So you need that like happy middle ground.
Yeah, I figured it out actually. So I guess the secret is know your fridge, and you can work inside of it to save yourself a little bit of money, and hopefully some of these tips and tricks will help you out today. Uplifting Way FM. This here is the Wally Show. And Gavin, at 26 years of age, doesn't know the joy of having every bone in your body crack when you stand up, or your feet just hurting for no apparent reason.
And if anything does hurt, I do feel guilty about that because I am way too young for anything to hurt.
Yeah, and so I came across this thing, like, it's National Active Aging Week. They give it a whole week, instead of its own day.
Not just a day.
No, you get a whole week with this. And so the older I get, I see stories all the time of people. I'm 54. The mind's first thing to go. So I see people all the time like, man, I'm 65 and I feel better than I did when I was 45. Like, how? How is that possible?
I always appreciate my grandpa. He is in his upper 70s right now, and he still skis all the time. And he's always trying to find things to do. Goes to the gym every day too, because he's like, I just want to make sure that I'm able to walk still.
That's crazy. And I get that, because when you get older, that's when you can actually go and do things. You saved up some money, and you can work a little less, and you can actually go and enjoy life. But if your health is bad, you can't. So here's what I'm curious about. Please give me some hope for the future here. How are you better now than you were, say, 15 years ago? I want some people maybe who are a little bit older, and you've figured out the secret to staying young, or you feel better now in your 50s, or you're even older, than you did when you were in your 30s. Is it actually possible? I don't know that it is. I know people say that, but really, is it?
Because you
really
want to find out what, 10 years from now, you would like to be the person who's that storyline on the news that's 65-year-old still crushing mountain biking, winning, gold medals in the old X Games.
And this guy's not even afraid to have a photo with his shirt off. What happened? He's got six-pack abs at 65. So I am curious, all right? So 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. Are you better now at your age than you were 10 years ago? And how did you get there? God, I know. I need the secret. 855-33-WAY-FM. Tanya, how old are you, first of all?
I am 49.
You are 49. Okay, and so are you in, the best shape of your life?
Absolutely.
What are you doing? How'd you get there?
I lost 100 pounds, and I put my health first. I got up off the couch. I quit eating sugar, and I decided that I wanted to live my best life.
So what got you up off the couch first?
I wanted to be healthy for my kids.
There you go. Okay, so you had another reason, I want to be around for a long time, so I can enjoy my kids and then grandbabies, and you found that reason to get healthy. Well, I love it, Tanya. Thank you. You've inspired me.
Thanks. Have a great one. You guys inspire me daily.
All right, Harold, how old are you, and what are you doing to make yourself feel better today than you did 20 years ago?
I'm 60 years old, and I run marathons. I'll be running the Boston Marathon coming in April. So I started running about, 13 years ago. And, feel a lot better than I did, 20 years ago.
Now, when you're running, do you actually enjoy it, or are you like, okay, I'm enjoying what this does for me, and so it's good to do?
I enjoy it till probably mile 14 to 20.
Yeah, I get that. Like those last 6 have got to be rough. What's the fastest time you've ever run a marathon?
3:28, I think.
What? That's impressive, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, I ran Boston in 3:33 last year. I went to the gym and it was closed one day, and so I told my buddy, I go, let's just run. I used to run when I was younger, so we started running and haven't stopped since.
Really? You're like Forrest Gump. Run, Forrest, run. Run, Harold, run. What are you doing, and how old are you, Sam?
So, Wally, there's hope for you because, one, I'm your age, and I felt horrible 20 years ago, but you can always go in and get new parts.
Okay.
So you can get new back, new feet. So if a part goes down, I'll go into the part shop and I'll just get a new one. Like Dad said, I'm like a Mustang.
Be like the $6 Million Man. You're just all bionic and you just got all the fake parts. I love it.
Steve Austin, astronaut, a man barely alive. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man.
All right, Jeanette, you're up. How old are you, first of all?
Hey, Wally, I'm 69.
You're 69 years old. Okay, so now what are you doing to make yourself feel better now than you did, say, 20 years ago?
Well, I call it my 3 W's. Walking, drinking a lot of water, and reading the Word of God on a regular basis.
Well, there you go. Those are 3 good W's to have.
Exactly.
They're better than mine. Willy Wonka and wontons. That's how I've gotten to where I'm at.
That's hilarious.
Oh, electronic mail.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show, and I'm really glad when people who listen to the show email me about stuff we've talked about. Like, I always enjoy that. Like this one from Mark. Says, hey, I was listening to your show during my workout the other day when I heard you voice your support of law enforcement. Yeah, I said, look, I know the stories of a few bad cops make the rounds, but I am unapologetically in support of police because, I mean, they're the ones that day in and day out are keeping us safe and doing a really, really, really tough job, and I respect that. And he said, I didn't get to finish listening to the show because I was called out to a SWAT situation. So Mark is a cop, and so this resonated with him. Individual had shot numerous rounds into a vehicle with his pregnant wife inside, and in the vehicle, then barricaded himself in the apartment. Thankfully, the female and her children were not hit by the gunfire. We utilized our tactics and equipment, and we were able to peacefully resolve the situation and take the suspect into company. All the while, we had a hostile crowd behind us. This is a regular day for us, not the normal day for most people.
It takes like so much bravery to face something like that, and that's just part of their job. When we come in and we face an issue with our job, it can't even like compare to that level of
not life and
confrontation.
death.
No.
It feels like it sometimes because I blow everything out of proportion. But no, I mean, that's the thing. Like, imagine if you went to your job every day and you knew you were going to be hated by most of the people that you interacted with just because of the nature of your job. You know, even if you're trying to do the right thing and people just hate you, you know, and so that's why I give cops the benefit of the doubt and give them the break for sure. You know, he went on to say all this stuff like my car's been vandalized, my wife has been threatened, you know, and just craziness with that. Said I was always called to serve. After September 11th, I joined the military. I conducted 155 missions in a hostile environment in the Middle East, and came home with a little PTSD. A little bit, and said, I'm glad to serve. I wouldn't change that. So thanks again for the great radio show and helping to shift the culture through Way FM and the things that you guys do. So, Mel, thank you, man. Like that, you're doing it every day, and the job that none of us, most of us can't do. And so we appreciate it, and I love that you responded to that conversation. So if you ever want to, hit me up about things you hear on the show, feel free. Wally at wayfm.com. Being the parent of like a little kid, I think has gotten a lot harder than when I was raising my daughter. She's 23 now, and man, I got to tell you, the decisions you have to make and the things you have to monitor and protect your children from today has gotten a lot harder. What do you give them that's still entertaining, but also aligns with your values? You know, we've talked about Way FM being a product that you don't have to filter, but like if you got Netflix in your house, you got to have the filter on.
And even Disney Plus, you have the same problem.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, Disney Plus has been disappointing to me as a parent. And some of the things they've chose to put on there, and like, you got to watch it, you know? And that's why it's so nice to have something. If I was raising little kids, I would do PureFlix subscription, man, because you've got content on there that you're not having to filter out. And as a parent, I mean, I know we want to be involved in our kids' lives, but sometimes you need to park them in front of the TV and take 10 minutes to yourself. That's why PureFlix is a great option for families. You got family stuff, obviously. They're even dabbling in some drama. Yes, and PureFlix originals. Like, I saw the movie on their Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters, and I have to tell you,
you cried.
I did. There was 3 times, not once, 3 times.
I did.
I wept, and I was moved, and it was a great movie. And I think if I was raising my child now, I think PureFlix would be definitely a part of my family's entertainment plan.
So if you'd like to try PureFlix, text PURE, that's PURE, to 91979 to get your 1-week free trial. Faith and family entertainment with no ads on your favorite devices.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Rock Report with Betty Rock.
Betty Rock is out today, so you're stuck with me. With the popularity of the new Elvis movie, there's some new interest in Elvis from generations that maybe didn't grow up with him.
I'm in love. I'm all shook up.
And most of us know about the tragic death after giving into kind of the trappings of success, but like a lot of people don't know about Elvis's private life, and the movie kind of sheds some light on that. But his stepbrother actually is kind of on a mission to shed light on another part of his life that received much less attention, and it was his faith.
Because I think he did some like gospel albums when he was in that phase of his life, I think.
Yeah, he actually did do that. And his brother-in-law, or his stepbrother, says he was a Christian. And most people don't know, when I say Christian, he says he was a Bible-carrying Christian. Wherever he went, he took the Bible with him. In fact, this stepbrother said he worked with Elvis on tour, and his task was bringing Elvis's Bible with him.
Oh, cool.
Which is kind of crazy. And he often observed Elvis, praying, like down on his knees and stuff. And the challenges of fame, of course, were all around him, and he struggled very publicly with his demons, and it was apparent. But, his brother says nobody can really imagine the position Elvis was in here, and he is a man that kind of changed culture. And I said, I always thought of him as the devil on one side and God on the other side. And there was a constant battle going on inside of his head. In fact, just 2 days before his death, he recalled a conversation they had where Elvis asked, "Do you believe God forgives us of our sins?" He said, "Yeah, of course he does. We've talked about this many times." And he just kind of said, "Good," And so he was struggling with all this stuff, and he knew he wasn't right, especially if you grow up with the foundation of faith and church, and you know that what you're doing isn't right, but sometimes you feel kind of powerless in that addiction.
Yeah, he was the king of rock and roll, but in a lot of ways he was just human, like the rest of us.
Yeah, I think it really does underscore how important it is not to judge other people's faith. Like, we can look at their actions and disapprove or, hurt for them or worry about it and stuff like that, but you never know where somebody is with God. That's the thing that you can't be sure of. And the one thing you can't be sure of, though, is that God loves them the exact same as he loves you and the exact same as he loves me, even in the midst of our mess. But there's when I was reading this story, like the words from 10th Avenue North song, "You Are More," just popped into my head. You are more than the choices that you've made. You are more than the sum of your past mistakes. You are more than the problems you create. You've been remade. And that's one of those things that I think was true for Elvis, but it's one of those lessons that I think is important for all of us to, be aware of in our lives. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show, and sometimes you just want to treat yourself. You want to splurge on those little things, and everybody has different things that they're like, this is a non-negotiable for me. I am spending the extra cash on this, and I will not apologize to anyone because of this. And for some people it's food, for some people it's clothing. Like some people, there is something about like name brand stuff. Typically, if you buy a name brand, piece of clothing or whatever, a lot of times you're hoping the quality is better. Yeah, so it's an investment.
If you're eating Captain Crunch versus, I think the one that you grew up on, Soggy.
Sergeant Soggy.
Yeah. It hits different.
It's not as good, Or some people toilet paper, I'm not going to, scrimp on that.
No.
Very important.
None of the one-ply stuff, please.
No. And so, everybody's got those little things. So here's the deal. I am curious about what is that thing for you that you're like, I will not compromise on this. This is my splurge for me. But then what I want you to do is A, tell me that, but then B, I have a list of things that people said they would not splurge on. And the number one thing really surprised me. So I want you to tell me yours and then take a guess as to what you think was the number one thing that people are not going to go cheap on. And I would be amazed if anybody gets this. Honestly, I would be beyond shocked if someone gets it. So 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. And we'll take your stories and your guesses right now. What is the thing that you splurge on that you're like, I will not compromise on this?
A mattress, a good mattress.
That is a really, really good investment. I had a friend of ours that used to produce the show, Zach, and he said there's certain things I won't scrimp on, and that's things that make me feel better so that I can do my job better or, be better for my family. And a mattress, if you're not sleeping, that makes total sense. So now I have this list, okay, Megan, and what do you think came in at number one on this list of the things that people will not go cheap on?
I think shoes. Good shoes.
That's not a bad guess, because if your feet hurt, everything else kind of hurts. I'm there right now with a little plantar fasciitis. But no, that is not it. That kind of made the list at number 5. Well, Megan, I appreciate you being on with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Remy, what's that thing that you are going to splurge on?
My laundry detergent. I don't like to itch.
Exactly.
And when I try to use cheaper ones, I can't do that.
Yeah, I've had the same thing. Like if you use a cheaper one, all of a sudden you're laying in bed, you're like, why am I itchy? And I think it's because of the laundry detergent.
Yes, I'm Tide all the way.
There you go. I'm Team Tide. All right, well, what do you think came in at number 1 on this list of things that people are willing to splurge on?
Maybe coffee?
Coffee. Oh, that's good. That actually made the list at number 6 because I'm a coffee snob too. I like my coffee to be the same every time. But that's not it. But man, I appreciate you being on with us today, Remy. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm curious, what is your splurge?
Mine has to be Campbell's tomato soup and Del Monte cream corn.
Okay, so you're going name brand with some of the good stuff, Campbell's and Del Monte. You're not going to go with the Kroger or Target brand, right?
No.
Can you taste a difference? You really think there's a difference?
Oh, there is definitely a difference. The other tomato soup is like watery and nasty, and so is the cream corn.
Yeah, I think you definitely can tell the difference in some products. Now, what do you think made the number 1 thing that people are willing to splurge on this list?
I'm going to say either shampoo or makeup.
Ooh, that's pretty good, actually. But no, that's not the number 1 thing. The number 1 thing, allow me to blow your mind, if you will, is windshield wipers.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah. I thought that was surprising because you only change them like maybe once a year. But like if you're ever getting your oil changed, they're like, oh, you need to change these wiper blades. And how much is that? $47. And they're like $8 at Costco.
Yes. I would have never guessed that.
Yep. So windshield wipers. A couple other things that made the list. Garbage bags, because when they break, it makes sense. You always realize that one after you're pulling it out and it breaks all over the lawn.
Oh, it's the worst.
Like, I'm never going cheap on this again. And another one that made the list too, I surprised vacuums.
I could see that. Yeah.
But like I'm not going to go Dyson crazy and spend $600 on a vacuum cleaner, but I'd spend a few hundred to get a decent one.
I had one that they were trying to sell me. It was over $1,000. I was like, I don't think so.
Are you kidding me? Like I would say, okay, here's the deal. You're trying to sell me this $1,000 vacuum cleaner. I will buy it from you because I believe what you're saying that it works, but you're going to have to come vacuum my house. Like every time I want it vacuumed, you come over and do it, kind of concierge service, because that's the only way this thing's worth $1,000.
That's true.
Behold God stuff.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. I love it when science kind of catches up and it reinforces the things that we know from the Bible. There was a survey of 2,000 people, and they looked at the connection between gratitude and happiness. And it showed that the majority of people who report that they're very happy on a daily basis always tend to give thanks more.
Oh, because you're not spending as much time like being angry about something you don't have versus being grateful for what you do.
Well, because again, this wasn't like a Christian study. They found that there's a dramatic correlation between gratitude and happiness, and when people are proactive about being grateful, it rewires their brain to look for positives instead of negatives around them. And I can totally see that. I know when I'm at my best, it's when I'm super thankful and grateful for everything God's given me, and I'm not preoccupied with the things that frustrate me at that point. Like, because you can get mad about anything, and things at work can set you off, but then you're like, man, I got my family, and their health is good, and they're happy, and like that's more important than any of this stuff, and it rewires you, like they're saying. And like in Philippians 4:6-7 says, don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving present your request to God, and the peace of God which transcends all understanding will guard your hearts and minds. And there's so much in this one verse. It deals with anxiety, which is something that's prevalent in our society today. It talks about bringing all of our concerns before God, and in doing so being thankful to God in everything, and He will give us something that is vital in our lives, and that's the peace in all the situations we do not understand. So it's kind of like saying that if you'll do this, then this will happen for you. So gratitude is the key to all of that goodness, and that's your God stuff for today.
Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online and United Faith Mortgage for supporting what we do.